Good evening, everyone. This is take 4 of my video for YouTube, National American University Doctoral of Educational Leadership, course number 8200, Managing Change. Tonight, you shall learn about my case study, which is Central Arizona College. When I lived in Queen Creek, Arizona in 2007-2008, the main campus had just broken ground in Coolidge, Arizona, and they had a little satellite site in a shopping center that was 50 feet from my back door. That was during the time of great leadership change, and there was a group that got together to form a committee and a consortium. They went on nationwide search, and they found one candidate, Dr. Jacqueline Elliott of Arkansas, who was elected to the position of president in 2016. The motivation for this change was a decline in several categories, which included student retention, scholarship, federal funding, alumni funding, and community ties. A lot of local businesses and internship opportunities were not available to students in the Pinal County area. And Pinal County Community College got absorbed by Central Arizona College in a funding budget cut that was formed to take 11 campuses and satellite offices into one central location with several outreach offices and study groups. So since 2016, collaboration of students back into the community under Dr. Elliott has had great achievement and great success, along with participation from the Native American tribes with the interdisciplinary study of history and communications. Students are able to visit with Native American elders to record older stories, World War II experiences, and to have transcription experience with the storytellers and medicinal shaman that are in the area. So, theory and effects that were used to study the university, the community, and the change in leadership. The first choice was John Cutter and the 8 points of purpose. There was also a thesis done by Dr. Westerfield, submitted to Northern Arizona University, and he looked at a theorist in education named Peter Kosek, and how he says that a lot of organizations change due to fear. Those organizations may have fear of the unknown. They may have fear of the status quo. And a lot of organizations decide to change because there is a plan proposed. It looks predictable on paper. It gives them a result, and it gives them a measurable result. The other premise of his theory is organizations choose to change because they play scenarios against one another. So they play the what if game, and one side usually beats out another side and says, well, we must change because if we do not change, this may happen and we can't afford the consequences or the possibilities. Another theory that was looked at was a theory proposed by Dr. Pamela Eddy of William and Mary College. She is a leader in her field, which is organizational change and leadership. Her papers and books have proposed that, in fact, there is a human resistance to change. And what happens is there is a certain group or person who feels motivated to change, and they eventually wear down resistance and opposition. They put together so much information and effort that other resistance groups or naysayers or opposition has no other option than to either do some type of divisional conflict or value conflict, and the result becomes that people fear a vocal, strong opponent, and they go along with the proposal that is there to keep the peace. So, the chosen analysis mode was, in fact, John Cotter and the 8 points, because Central Arizona College needed a leadership change and a catalyst for change. There was an audit done in 1998 which showed severe financial instability and unsustainable policies, along with the decline in student retention and student interest. So they began a search for a new leadership right about 2010. They had 5 candidates at first. When they decided to do the rounds of interviews, which was a group of 5 meetings over the course of a year and a half, there was one candidate, Dr. Jacqueline Elliott, who stood out among the rest. She put together a group policy and change which brought Northern Arkansas and NorArk Community College and rural office systems $5 million across 5 years in sustainable funding and alumni pledges, which in fact turned out to be incredible for a small group of schools and her organization. So that began a balancing act under Dr. Elliott, where the community spoke to her and said, we need qualified workers who are ready to apply and who have the skills and certificates that we are looking for. The students in turn said what we would like is flexible scheduling, evening classes, weekend classes with the option of tutoring or one-on-one study groups. From the Native American community and the rural communities, there was the issue of transportation. How can we get students to classes in a safe and viable way so that way students can attend and then improve their quality of life? Another factor was completion rate. A lot of students would take remedial or core courses that were needed for a program at another bigger university, Arizona State, University of Arizona, Northern Arizona, and they would only stay for a semester or 2. The other incident that happened, a student is offered a full-time position. They need the support of a full-time employer versus education. And a lot of students said that I can't compete and complete school with work and social demands. There was also an issue of student support. A lot of students needed not only financial support, but they needed remedial support in subjects like reading, mathematics, statistics, analytics, computer coding, computer programming. And the fact that the course catalog had grown so big that there were successes in business and interdisciplinary studies, but they needed a new approach and they needed applicable outreach into the community. So the challenge of a new education program was to promote intensive learning. Students wanted to do a skill, a certain certificate, a certain tier level of learning that would help them succeed in life. Mark Lamb is the sheriff of Pinal County, and one of his biggest things is education and outreach. This also included a pandemic response of law enforcement in Pinal County led by Sheriff Lamb, which was featured on the YouTube television series The American Sheriff. A lot of people will also remember Mark Lamb for appearances on the much-loved, popular long-running show Live PD. In her first inauguration speech, Dr. Elliott spoke of a message of hope. She hoped that things would improve, not only for the residents, but for students and those associated with Central Arizona College. She also spoke of trust. She wanted those who were there in their departments and in school to establish relationships, to reach out, to find the network that best supports them, so that way they could continue and feel that bond, that love. And when they felt that love, a lot of students said, no, we want to stay. We want to finish our courses. We want to become stronger people, more educated people, so that way we can stand for value and stand for a better future. Another issue in the transition was taking 11 offices down to 3 satellite campuses and 2 outreach offices. Both outreach offices are located with Native American tribal blessing. So, what was my resolution? My resolution in the challenges that Central Arizona Colleges faces in this multi-ethnic pandemic situation is the education reform should follow 3 tier levels. Students should have the opportunity to elect into a interdisciplinary study or a remedial 2-year certificate for an associate's, which would help students looking to fill or to shore up academic holes. This creates transferable credits, which can go towards a full degree program or an accelerated degree program at other universities. And some students from Pinal County have done 2-year degrees and gone on to accelerated master's courses at the University of Utah, Brigham Young University, Arizona State University, University of Arizona, and USC. There is also a need in the area for certificate courses for working professionals who have free time on evenings and weekends when they have support from family and spouses to gain an edge in business courses, accounting, and finance. There's also a need for accelerated skills that would help people change professions. Somebody who maybe is a clerk and looking to get into management would benefit from a skill course which is in business, or a skill course which is based in human resources. There's a lot of young people who come off the reservations who are just looking to have money for family or to help pay medical bills, and they do not have the same amount of time, or they have dependents, young families, and time demands, and they need help in math, or they need help in financial concerns or medical coding. And that would give them at least a course that then they could translate into further study and skills. So, in conclusion, there is some current victories, which is under Dr. Elliott, the interdisciplinary studies of history and communications has led students to go into journalism and do really well at the University of Arizona and Arizona State, including some that have gone into media studies. The program of the Native American recordings was actually a huge victory and something that she has now capitalized upon when the recording and the outreach and the field trips were actually even featured on NPR's Welcome to America, stories from the rural level, and it was featured in one of their radio programs. Also, under Dr. Elliott, internships are booming and increasing. There are more business leaders and small business owners who want to see local students do well and support education among the small towns and communities in Pinal County, Cochise County, and the surrounding area. So, support of the big universities. Now administration has ties with the staff and the admissions office at the University of Arizona, USC, Arizona State, Northern Arizona University, and New Mexico University of New Mexico, New Mexico Highlands University, the University of Utah, and Brigham Young. And that has expanded the network where students have taken associate degrees and gone on to do bigger and better things. Now that Dr. Elliott has shown that there is value and understanding in the community, there are now more scholarship programs available with support from local business leaders and the federal government. So in conclusion, with new leadership and a commitment to community needs and a better sustainable financial plan, Central Arizona College has found a balanced and strong partnership in the region. The future remains bright for Pinal County and the surrounding areas. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a very Merry Christmas, guys, and I hope to hear from you soon. References are listed.